have been fixed.
Sick.
Oh, good grief. Okay, well, here we go. We're back live.
So I just started the recording, but we are still live streaming. So we are live right now.
Give us the
All
countdown.
right, well, hey,
iCarly
we're
style.
live now. What's up, everybody? If you couldn't hear us before, we're back in at Pro Football Pod. You've got Austin, you've got Coach. We're all hanging out. We had a great summer, had some time off. We had a great discussion on D-Hop, Dalvin Cook, seeing where they're going. So consensus on what that is nobody fucking knows. Nobody has a clue.
It's what it is.
Cook.
They're both veterans. They're going to go where the veteran teams are worth it.
I think Cook goes to the Bills. Hop comes on to Dallas.
All right, so I'm gonna disagree with you.
Or
right?
the Chiefs.
I don't think that he goes to the Bills because of his little brother. I think that what Alexander Madison's career has been going through for his first 5 years is exactly what James Cook is going to go through for the next 2 or 3 if Dalvin's there. Dalvin is about to take whoever is the starting running back at wherever he goes and make them not the starter. Like, that's why I don't think that the Cowboys look at him either, because Tony Pollard is who they want as their guy. They don't want someone else. They don't care about anything. That's why they only care about Tony Pollard. So
that's why I don't know why they wouldn't keep Zeke just for that bowling ball factor, in the end zone.
Now, the Patriots are notorious for having that multi-back system and just running the ball. So even though they have Ramondre Stevenson's, I think that Dalvin could still go there with D-Hop.
I don't see that we're live on Twitch right now.
Okay.
We're live.
We're live now. We're back in here. We got the audio issues fixed. Pro Football Pod, man, we're just, you take a summer break off and then you come back and you literally, I'm stumbling over words. We can't figure out the audio issues over here.
It's been 1 month.
Austin's wearing Cowboys stuff. I mean, everything's just going wrong. But
you never wear Cowboys stuff, dude. Ever. Like, you always have something else on, even like the hat that you wear.
This is the start of a new season, baby. This could
I thought about going
the
fins
start.
up.
You did, bro. You got your hat on.
Well, I mean, I'm always gonna wear the fins.
That's what I'm saying. Don't ever forget, bro. And what you got, Justin? You got little Grogu in the background for us and little Dolphin. I see you.
Yeah, you changed things.
Gracie
up,
painted
Justin.
that. Gracie painted the yoke.
No way she painted
bro.
that.
Yeah.
Is that like a stencil?
Shout out.
And like she
went to a class with my mom at one point. Like, somebody drew it and then she just looked up and did all of that. But she drew it herself. Okay. She didn't trace it or anything.
She drew that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant someone else drew it for her and then she
somebody drew a picture and then she
drew it off of that and people do. Damn, bro, that's impressive.
She's awesome.
No. I'm sorry. I'll say it like this. I couldn't do that. That's why I'm so impressed. Austin's laughing because he knows exactly what I'm saying. Like, that is something that you could give me a year and all the paint in the world, and I still
would be like, "What is that thing,
bro?" Like, never. I would never be able to.
Yeah,
ever.
It's good.
So
good
wow,
is
so
that
impressed.
Flubber?
Huh?
I said you would think it would be Flubber if he drew it.
If I drew it, yeah.
Flubber. That's a great movie. Great callback.
Got you.
Hey, R.I.P.
All right, so we've discussed Dalvin and D-Hop. Nobody knows where they're going. If you missed the discussion, well, we're back in here. So, we're just going to...
I think everyone missed
Austin thinks he's going to Buffalo. Colby disagrees. I think ultimately he ends up in Miami or possibly the New York Jets. So... basically, Dalvin's going to end up in the AFC East. The Jets and the Dolphins have been the two most rumored teams for him.
The Jets? But how? They have 2 good running backs.
They've also got Aaron Rodgers, and they're going absolutely all in on 2 seasons.
I feel them vibes.
So, I mean, I don't blame them, especially because Brees is coming back from the ACL, so you don't know exactly when he'll be 100% again. So why not replace him with Dalvin Cook for a little bit? And then when he does come back, you have probably the best 1-2 running back punch in the NFL. So, yeah, that would be good for the playoffs. Like, it would make sense if he went to the Jets.
Do they have the kind of cap space to bring him in?
They have enough cap space to bring him in, yeah.
Well, shit, what we talking about here? Why is
cap space is a myth. They can maneuver it however they need to.
I read a thing today that Stephen Ross had 6 players convert their money into like signing bonuses so that he could sign Jalen Ramsey. Like 6 Dolphins he hit up and was like, "Yo, we're gonna get Jalen Ramsey. You mind taking your money in a different way?" They all said, "Fuck yeah, we're getting Jalen Ramsey." I think that people have started to talk about how good the Dolphins are, but they're super afraid to like hype us up in the way that the Chargers and the Bills got hyped up last year. But that's what should be happening right now. Like if people are excited.
Last year y'all did get that hype towards y'all. And like people definitely respect you guys, but like everyone knows, you know, your quarterback's made of paper, so like as long as he don't rip, you're good.
He got a thick neck now.
For the disrespect.
No. I'm not disrespect. I try to smoothly get through that.
Has some issues staying on the field. You don't have to say he's made of paper.
Paper boy.
That's just blatant disrespect. It's not needed.
Paper boy.
Oh, I mean, Austin, I could say that Dak got hurt because he fell off his sleep number bed the wrong way. Like, I mean, these are just issues that you have.
Hey, that's probably true, honestly. That made
you saw his ankle get snapped on live television on a Thursday night. Everyone, the whole world saw it.
You know, the sleep number got him wrong. He was sleeping on a 75. You should have been sleeping on a 60. I mean, come 69. On, bro. He's got to know. Yes. Okay. Sorry. That you win.
All right. Moving on. So, any other free agents that are notable, like besides Zeke and the D-Hop and
Zeke, D-Hop, Dalvin. I mean, Julio Jones is still out there trying to kick it. Jarvis Landry, did he still sign with the Saints? Did he go anywhere? I think he signed.
I don't think he did.
Did he? No. That's about it as far as that. I mean,
Derrick Henry.
Looking through, I mean.
Donovan
Smith, Taylor Lewan, out there as offensive tackles still. Connor McGovern, Elijah Wilkinson, Michael Schofield still out there as, you know, guards.
No main players for like
Jadeveon Clowney, Bud Dupree, Justin Houston, Leonard Floyd.
These guys are all free agents right now?
Yeah, they're all still free agents.
Yeah,
Bud Dupree's just asking for too much money. He's asking for way too much money. As soon as Bud Dupree's a good talent, man. He was amazing whenever he played with Pittsburgh at being that outside linebacker.
He should be picked up.
He just got paid way too fucking much money.
Oh, shit. Way too much. So nobody wants him with that much.
And Marcus Peters is still out there, too, as far as, like, defensive backs go. He'll be a solid corner. I wouldn't be shocked, though, for him to be, like, him to go back to Baltimore in, like, a one-year deal.
Yeah, they're doing something different over there. Have y'all tuned into what they've been putting out on YouTube?
No.
They're giving you a little. It's almost like a YouTube version of what's that? Hard Knocks, you know?
Yeah, a few teams do that. Things. Like the Jets have one too, called like One Jets Drive or something.
Carolina
like
Panthers
like have Hard Knocks this year. I thought I heard that they didn't want it, but they were like being forced to do it.
That's not good for them.
That's the rumor, but it still hasn't been announced. Apparently, this is the longest they've gone without announcing who's going to actually be the team for Hard Knocks.
Because
nobody wants it.
It was huge for them last year. It was huge.
Yeah, but nobody wants it, and nobody wants to watch the Lions again. And
nobody
as far as
like
the teams that they can force, like they can force the Commanders to do it, but Ron Rivera has come out and said, like when the Panthers did it. He hated it. So, like, nobody wants to do it. I honestly,
try forcing Bill Belichick to do it.
I would think that the Dolphins would be a team to where Mike McDaniel would be like, fuck it, bring somebody in.
I don't want to just talk about Tua the whole time. I don't want to hear it.
No, but it would be more.
It would be just Tua. They're going to talk about other people coming in and doing other things, other players and stuff. You'll get your Tua spotlight.
He's going to get hit.
But
he's
that will just
fall
be like
over.
one episode.
And they're, oh my God.
He's going to trip in the locker room.
I can't deal with it. No, thank you. No, thank you. He's going to be playing someone in ping pong, and he's going to trip. And then everyone's going to be like, oh my God, he broke his neck. Like, oh, he's fine. Like, I'm done. So, Any other
quiet.
viable news? I know that we've been gone for a month, and what's crazy is absolutely fucking nothing has happened. Like in
Man, I
the
got an
entire
campaign.
month.
Like the biggest news was
4th of
like the
July.
whole. It basically, if you're in the NFL, the safest bet is to not bet, like at all. Just don't bet.
Which North Carolina just legalized sports gambling, so by January 8th we're gonna have it. So all the Panthers players next year are gonna be suspended and
Oh,
all
that
that
means
bullshit.
I'm gonna have to drive across the state line to hit those super boost up because they're gonna be putting those out like crazy because they always do. I
Well,
did it
not
Don't
whenever
just
they
forget
did
to
it
that,
for Virginia
they
too.
might they
Quick
might
little
allow
drive,
prop
easy
betting.
$100.
The prop betting and the things that like Tennessee doesn't legally have, they might have. So like the Super Bowl bets on like the coin toss and things like that. That type of stuff might be available too. I'm not really sure. I didn't read like the bill, but it's
it's all
exciting that we're
rigged.
gonna have it. I mean,
Don't do it. Don't do it. It'll take your life away.
if you have any problems with gambling, just make sure to call 1-800
Yeah,
gambling.
Austin, did you call that number? Because you haven't sent me a bet in like 2 months.
Yeah, because football's been there
Woo-wee.
hasn't been no sport.
That
It's
doesn't
been
matter. You were
baseball.
sending me baseball, hockey, Korean baseball, tennis.
I know. I went into a dark place, man. I just wanted to go to get a little therapy action before the season starts, And I'm back. I'm saving up, and we're gonna get ready.
I'm not gonna
Cause
lie,
I'm gonna
betting Korean
conquer these
baseball is
fucking
actually
bookies.
awesome because it's played at the time I'm sleeping. So I either wake up to a win or a loss. So like it's either just like, hey, I won some money last night, or it's like, oh damn it. Okay, well, that's what I get for betting Korean baseball.
Well, it's
That's
also
what I
tough
get.
going to sleep with a live
Shout
bet
out
open like
Dinos.
that.
Some of their team names are awesome. One of the teams is the Dinos.
That's sick.
That would have been
Almost
better
as
than the
good as the
Washington Commanders.
Seattle Dragons.
But yeah,
Pretty
like you
fire.
said, not shit's happened. I mean, the NBA, if you were gonna shift over there real quick, they added an in-season tournament, so we'll see how that goes.
Which it's
The
all going to
dates?
be done by the
November
time we can
12th through
vet.
December 9th.
By the time we can actually bet in North Carolina, the whole tournament's going to be over.
Yeah,
So that sucks.
Sick.
yeah, that'll be
Yeah.
good. But you can
It
bet the
should
All-Star game, so
Super
that'll be
Bowl.
fun.
Super Bowl
Super
will be
Bowl.
live. That's what's going to
Yeah,
matter. They're going to
that'll be
make
a
$1
big
billion.
one.
I can't wait.
Yeah, that'll be a big one.
I mean, the biggest news in
And
the
training
NBA,
camps are about to start up.
it sure is. But that biggest news though in the NBA, I mean, you can't skip over that. Damian Lillard, he's literally saying, "I'm only going to Miami." That's wild.
What
The
Portland's
That's
in
asking
wild.
for is
the
like way
leverage
too
NBA
much.
players have is very, very heavyweight.
He's been playing with them and been like taking these deals where he's only playing with them his whole career. So I think that like Portland is also, if they're dicks to Damian Lillard, then all of their fans are going to hate them because everyone loves Damian Lillard. How could you not? I love
The
him and I'm
NBA
not even a
does.
Portland fan.
And like, I mean, he is like the NBA right now. I mean, the guy shoots the
He's
ball and it's going
33.
fucking
Like
in.
he's still not that old. And I remember whenever he was in like his sophomore year, he did every single event for the All-Star break. He did the dunk contest, he did the three-point contest, he did the Rising Stars event. He did every single event. Like that's who Damian Lillard is. He's a fucking baller. I can't
He
wait for him
is
to
the
be on the Heat.
definition of a dog. Like him and Jimmy
Dog.
Butler's mentality
Oh
together.
man.
Like that's why like in our group chat like they were talking about how they didn't want like Marcus Smart or Draymond Green and I was like, "Do you understand the team we would have? The Miami Heat if they had Jimmy Butler, Damian Lillard, Marcus Smart and Draymond Green on that squad. Like
That
that is the Bad Boys Pistons reunited. Like they would just kick
exactly.
people in the throat every game like, "Hey, which one of us getting?"
Oh no.
And Justin will be
Wait,
back in just a moment.
just punched him out of there. All right.
Oh, I hear what
So,
he's saying though. Like they're just going to be
oh yeah.
extremely aggressive. Like there's not a lot that anybody's really going to be able to do.
Kicked out this game. I'll take a knock.
Oh, you there?
Are we fixed? Are we good?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
good.
yeah.
I've
You're
been
back.
good
You're
on
back.
my side.
No, you
I've been
haven't.
good on my side.
No,
I've
you
heard
haven't,
everything.
dude. Yeah. Okay. Well, me and Austin, you were just kind of like stuck in place. So, yeah. But exactly, bad boys of basketball. I think that it would have been great as well. I understand why people hate Draymond Green, but it's hard for me to understand them because he plays so hard. He played the five for most of his career at 6'8", like 6'9". Like how does anybody supposed to do that?
If you watched him this season, I mean, it was just so sad to watch. Like he just can't make
There's
a
a big difference.
bucket, and
He's
like
not a
his
shooter though.
defense was
Like
off, and
that's whenever they made all
some
those runs early, that's where he was doing both. He was making the three, and then he was also putting like hardcore defense down. But he was never like really a driver and like
yeah, but sometimes you can just tell when it's someone's time, and he just needs
yeah, I
to
feel
step
that.
back and be a secondary player on another team, maybe, even the Warriors, maybe.
I think that them letting Jordan Poole go was kind of nuts, but I don't think that we should
Well,
talk about
that's
basketball
because of
too much.
Draymond. That's because of Draymond. They're
Yeah.
getting in
All
fights
right.
during practice.
Moving on. So let's get into these award predictions here, fellas. We're gonna start off here. Coach of the Year. Let's run down the list here for us here. Austin, who you got for your Coach of the Year this year?
Dan Campbell.
Dan Campbell. Okay, we'll dive into that
Yes.
there. Colby, who are you rocking with this year?
D'Amico Ryans, first year coaches get it a lot, especially if they can like turn around a team that was ass. So I think that he has a really high opportunity.
Okay. And
Refreshers.
I've got and now I'll explain this because it also at the end of my list will make sense. But I've got Mike McDaniel, Dolphins head coach of the year. So Austin, why did you what makes you think Dan the Man Campbell? Which I do like that pick. He was up there for me as far as
he
my
was a
guys.
candidate last year.
Yeah, that's part of why he was a candidate last year, and of what he's doing this year. What he did in the draft, and what he's doing, and what he put into these players' heads. Like makes you want to run through a wall, and these players want to play for him.
If
And
the
that's the kind
Lions
of
win
guy
their
I wanna
division,
stand
I could
behind.
easily see it.
Yeah, 100%. And I think they have
Who else is going to win that
through.
division? Like the Bears?
Minnesota if everything clicks, for all we hate on Kirk, he puts up numbers. Like he just every year, if your quarterback were to put up the stat line Kirk put up, you would not be mad at it. Like for all we want to hate on Kirk, he's not that bad. So for me, it's their defense last year was terrible. So
That's
terrible.
true.
Like,
But
just
their
terrible.
offense
And now they've
put out
got
what it was
Brian
supposed
Flores
to.
running that defense.
True.
So, like Minnesota, I could see that Minnesota should be the favorite. Now, the Lions to me would be a good betting team to do it with because you're probably getting better odds with them.
Hell
So
yeah.
part of
A couple things happen wrong for the Vikings. Justin Jefferson goes out. Jordan Addison doesn't pan out as quickly as they think he does. Something, then what are they going to do?
And you already have receivers for Detroit suspended.
They let their
to start the
linebacker
season
go.
off.
Minnesota did. I don't like that. They let their he's gone. They let him go in free agency.
Yeah.
He was their best player on a shitty defense, and he was the only star that they had. Him and Donnell Hunter. And now Donnell Hunter, I think, is
their
gone
run
too,
defense wasn't the problem. It was their pass defense. Like they
which
had to
is
beef
where
up the
Eric
secondary.
Hendricks. That's where
He was a
shining.
great coverage linebacker. Yes, I do see what you're saying. I agree. They just couldn't afford to pay him what he was worth at that time.
They can't afford anybody because they're paying their quarterback this guaranteed deal.
And
they're
Justin
about to have to
Jefferson's
pay
got
Justin
a
Jefferson.
huge deal coming down the pipe.
Yeah, exactly.
So
If you don't know who
I
Eric
went with
Hendricks
Mike
is,
McDaniel
he's
because
basically Troy Polamalu linebacker.
Yeah, he's got the hair. He's
Yeah.
got the hair.
Players like it too, though.
I went with Mike McDaniel because and the asterisk here, and it's the whole thing with the entire Dolphins season. If Tua is healthy, I think the Dolphins have a strong chance on winning the division, regardless of Aaron Rodgers, regardless of Buffalo. I think the Dolphins have the best defense out of the three. The Jets put up a decent fight but I think the edge goes to Miami just because of a few positions. And everything goes right. If the Dolphins win that division, I think Mike McDaniel gets the Wonder Boy tag on him, like Sean McVay. They hit him with the Coach of the Year, and that's where I
So
think that comes into
I
play there.
I think that Mike McDaniel was a candidate last year, and if it wasn't for the end of the season, those games that they lost, it was easy to say that like Tua wasn't there or blah blah blah, but there was a lot of mistakes that were really obvious that the head
The
coach was
49ers
making.
and the Chargers game.
There was a bunch of times that there was timeouts that should have been called or mismanagement of timeouts,
No
challenges that were
adjustments being
failing,
made.
and I think that
This is
that's
how they're
the
playing us. Oh, let's keep playing our offensive game and see what happens. Like the definition of insanity is to keep
doing
doing
the
the
same
same
thing
thing,
exactly.
expecting a different result. And that's what
Now
they
I
did.
think
Both they
Mike
fixed it in Buffalo, but they just came up short.
I think his defining feature as a coach is his ability to adjust. It's just that he wasn't able to adjust during the season. But I my hope is, and I think that I wanted to say Mike. Part of me doesn't want to say him because I don't want to sound like a homer. But part of me also thinks that D'Amico Ryans, if he can take the already great Texans defense from last year and make them as elite as the San Francisco 49ers are and bring that type of mentality to that team, everybody that's left the 49ers so far has had success. From the Jets, Saleh to Mike McDaniel, D'Amico Ryans is the next. So I think that he's going to have success. I think that he's got an opportunity. I think that if what you're saying happens, it's going to be Mike. It has to be.
See, I like the D'Amico pick. My thing is I don't think the Texans are ultimately going to be good enough at the end of the year for him to warrant like legit. He'll probably be like a nomination type guy, but I see the Texans maybe winning 4 or 5 games, and that's mostly because their offense. Like C.J. Stroud, I almost had him picked for my rookie of the year, but it's just they don't have any fucking weapons around him. Like he's got Dalton Schultz and Noah Brown, which Noah Brown, he was legit for the Cowboys last year.
He
So
was.
many times I thought he was CeeDee Lamb, but he was not.
Yeah, he was not. Um, anything to add, Austin?
No, he really. They're like twins, and same thing with the Rams and the number
And the Cooper
Skowronek.
Cup.
Yeah, Ben
Ben
Skowronek.
Skowronek.
Yep.
Literally
Yeah, I
twinning
know
out there.
exactly who you're talking about. That's like having prop bets on those guys or fantasy. Very frustrating watching those teams because you
You
don't
just gotta
know
do
which
both.
player to cheer for yet. Like, yeah,
You
you just
just
got to
do
roster both and just hope for the best. All right,
Yeah.
so coach of the year there. I think I had the best choice. So thanks guys. And all right, so MVP Colby, who you got?
I mean, I think this one's pretty simple. Patrick Mahomes is going to win MVP. Like
You think he
he's
goes back to back?
the
3
most
and 4
valuable
years.
player in the league. He's whenever he doesn't have a bunch of receiver help and a bunch of help and he still puts up the most yards and the most touchdowns. Like his option of not winning it is if Tua can like legitimately just explode and like Tyreek gets 2,000 yards, but Tua puts up, record breaking shit. Like, that's, I think, the only chance. But what do you think?
So me and Austin are both in agreement here. We both think it's Icy Joe Burrow. And my thing on that is I like the Tua pick, and I couldn't do too many asterisks like, oh, if he's healthy, I think Tua gets MVP. Like to me, it's just yeah, he'll be up there, but I think it's gonna get to the point to where I could see Mahomes going back to back, but it turning into like the LeBron James, Michael Jordan type thing to where they don't want these guys to win it every year. They want to keep new and invigorated interest into the league every year. So I think that's where it'll be somebody different this year, just by natural course. So for me, my pick would be Joe Burrow. Now it could be Josh Allen, but that pick bit me in the ass last year, and I think the Bills are going to have a little bit of a step back this season. So that's why I picked Joe, is just because I think that's where he's just his trajectory is going, that's just basically the next stop for him in his career as far as like the awards platform goes.
So if it wasn't going to be Joe for me, well, 'cause it was Joe, it was going to be Lamar. And just because of what they added with Odell and like what they're doing over there in the Ravens, I just think that if Lamar can stay healthy and he has a good season, like nothing can really hold that team back. Like they have true
That's
talent whenever it
that's
gets down to football. Like they're a scary fucking team.
that's a dark
Lamar's not a
horse,
bad
like
pick.
worth betting. Like that's
Yeah.
one worth just
Yeah.
like, hey, putting like $100 on. Like that's not a bad call, dude. I like it. I didn't really think about it because I guess of the running quarterback thing, but he's still
They
right in
added
that
some
age
weapons
group.
though on the outside for
And
him
he's
this year
got
too.
actual weapons. And
Like
Rashad
Odell,
Bateman
if Odell
was
can come back
already a
and
serious
be,
guy.
if Odell can come back and just be what he gave the Rams,
And
just
didn't they get
5
Quentin
catches,
Johnson
50
too?
yards. They
No,
drafted
Chargers.
Quentin Johnson went to the
Chargers.
Chargers. They drafted
Okay.
Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers,
That's
he looks
right.
nice though.
Fucking
Yeah.
speed.
And
Speed.
apparently
Him and Rashad Bateman.
apparently the rumor
I
is
haven't
that
seen
Zay
Rashad.
Flowers hit a growth spurt in the offseason and went from about 5'9", 5'10" to now rumored he's sitting at about 6'1".
I mean,
So like
he's a
That's
young
Justin
man.
just
Jefferson.
added
That's Justin
build.
Jefferson height. 6'1".
He's just added build to his body frame. So I mean, that's not unheard of for dudes to get into the league and still hit like a growth spurt. Like these dudes are still 19, 20 years old. They're still growing.
He's definitely one of those guys I'm looking to pick up in the fantasy drafts, like
Yeah.
late.
Yeah. Like I love what they did as far as trying their best to add pieces for Lamar here this offseason.
Finally.
So I like that Lamar as a dark horse pick there if you weren't going Joe. Like I said, if I didn't go Joe, I was probably going Pat. But I think they're just going to want to do something different, so it's not going to shock me.
Sounds like the AFC's running the NFL.
every year, bro.
Yeah, the AFC is stacked. Like which we did our list at the end of, our podcast season before we took our break. Like the NFC list is basically 49ers and Eagles and some Cowboys sprinkled in, and that's it. Like
yeah.
Those
maybe
are
the
teams
Vikings
that
and
look
Lions.
like they can.
Maybe.
But
Yeah,
that's
maybe.
the thing is like it's not hard to build a list for the NFC because you've got like 4 teams that you're looking at and everybody else is
Whereas
trash.
AFC, it's so difficult, man. Broncos are a dark horse team. Adding Sean Payton, having Russ, like having all the receivers that they have, and Javonte Williams, and the offensive line they have, and their defense is sick as fuck. They were supposed to be good as fuck last year. Like people are going to devalue the players that are on the Broncos in fantasy so much. They are going to be
It'll be a
steals.
whole new team. They have Sutton and Judy are so far down there. And
Exactly.
why?
And now that's because of how high they were taken last year. Both
Exactly. Now, speaking of those two players, which one would you go with this year? You going
Sutton or
with Sutton
Judy?
or Judy?
Judy, he's more explosive.
Just
Least
So
younger.
I mean,
got
if
the
I'm having
explosiveness.
to choose between
Yeah.
the two of them, yeah, I agree. I go Judy.
Yeah.
Just because we've watched Judy last year have a 12 catch, almost 200
At
He
the
at least
yard
did
end, he
game.
showed flashes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Judy, when he's healthy and he's on, yeah, I'll take Judy. But I'm also
He
of the
was
factor
also
I don't want either of them if I can just go a different way.
Yeah.
Because I don't like teams with 2 wide receivers like that if they're not both elite.
yeah.
Because when you're looking at the Bengals, the Eagles,
Yeah.
the Dolphins, like these teams with 2 number 1 wide receivers, it doesn't matter. You can get the second guy and you're still getting production. Whereas if you're taking one of those dudes for the Broncos in fantasy terms, you're just hoping they're the one that pops off that week because it's not enough is going to go around for both of them to have, 6, 7 catch games there each game for them to be productive dudes.
Yeah. Especially with the running back they have coming out back from injury.
Yeah.
Now,
that too.
what are you guys thinking for offensive player?
Austin.
I got my boy Jamal Chase.
I got Jamar Chase as well. Me and Austin are similar on a good handful of our picks here.
Yeah.
with
I wrote 'em
how
down.
high you guys have Joe Burrow, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That's
You know,
why
they
I
don't
picked
expectation.
Jamar. If Joe wins MVP, you
Yeah.
expect
Third
his
year,
wide
right?
receiver to win offensive player. Like that's just
Now,
how I went with it.
I think that even if he gets 2,000 yards and he breaks the record and he does what Megatron couldn't do, that Tyreek Hill's not going to win MVP, but
He was my
that
runner-up.
he would win Offensive Player of the Year. And I think that
Because he hasn't yet.
there's a universe that he doesn't break 1,700 yards like he did last year. But I think
Injury.
that's very low chance.
Only
Like
going to be injury. He'll get it if he is a backup playing. If there's a
Like,
backup
even
quarterback playing, he's still going to get it.
with as much as Jalen Waddle's going to eat into him now, going into his third year and proving as a player, getting a little bit thicker, still maintaining speed, Tyreek Hill's still going to get 2,000 yards and he's going to get Offensive Player of the Year. That's my way too early prediction. I think he's too motivated to do.
The only reason I
didn't
take Tyreek is because I think that's the only way he wins it is if he hits 2,000 yards.
Yeah.
Because you got to win it at that point.
Yep. Now, I think that there's other positions that could potentially get it. There's not really a running back like Bijan Robinson coming in and doing something unreal in his first year, or even Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, these guys could potentially win Offensive Player of the Year, but I really think it's going to be a receiver the way the NFL's been running out the last couple of years. And I think that Justin Jefferson just doesn't have a chance because he doesn't have a quarterback that's going to be able to get it to him enough. Like,
well, offensive player of the year has basically become like MVP for non-quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm. My super dark horse for player of the year would be Garrett Wilson.
Boy, that's super dark horse. I'm not mad at
dark horse. I think that a lot of people are going to like that. A lot of people are valuing Garrett Wilson really, really, really highly right now. Now, last year was his rookie year, so he's got that sophomore potential to slump.
Well, yeah.
He's super motivated as a player. I doubt that he slumps. I think that he's probably a little bit overvalued on fantasy for me right now, just a tad, because he's going over
he's really not.
Veterans. Just for me. You know how much I like veterans. You know how much I want to see someone have a sample size and do it before I'm willing to take that risk on him.
If I can get Justin Jefferson and Garrett Wilson, I'm fucking set. Because you can get him at one and then scoop the other.
But then you're fucked at running back, bro.
But then
you can't do something like that.
My one thing with Garrett Wilson, I just look into, like, I think he's going to produce, and I love that as like you said, it's a dark horse pick. But my thing is how much does the relationship with Allen Lazard cut into what Garrett Wilson would possibly be able to give you?
I see that.
Garrett Wilson, I see him being the dude like between the 20s, getting the long pass, stuff like that. But once they get in the red zone, that's where you go to the guys you trust. And that's where I think Allen Lazard becomes more of a go-to target. So then you're looking at a lot of touchdowns that should probably go Garrett Wilson's way. Now I could be wrong because Aaron Rodgers, he's an elite quarterback. He's a professional. He's going to do what he wants to do.
It comes down to one simple thing, right? If Aaron is there for training camp and is able to build that rapport and cares enough about that side of it, then it's going to fucking happen. Last year, what he did with Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs was huge. And it was huge for their game. Like, they were able to come in and Doubs started off and then Christian Watson blew up in the end. And between the two of them, he had a fucking great rookie receiver. Like, if he just had one person there. So if he can do just that with Garrett Wilson, I think that's everything.
Well, that's the thing. You got to tune into the Jets little thing they have on YouTube. He is talking about Garrett Wilson. Like, I haven't seen talent like this in the league in a long time. Like, since Devontae Adams type shit.
Nice. That's dope. That's what you want to hear. Now, Defensive Player of the Year is a totally different monster. And honestly, I think that everyone's going to pick someone close to their team a little bit. I'm gonna go first. I picked Nick Bosa for a simple reason. I think it's gonna be an edge rusher because it generally is, and I think that he's the best edge rusher on the best defense right now. Like he is what makes San Francisco them. He had 15 sacks last year. If he puts up 20 plus sacks, I think that he easily walks away with it. Now you guys disagree with me because you guys are both fanned up together, trying to
Yeah, I don't know
gang up
how it
on me or
happened.
something.
With like our list, it's insane. Yeah,
It's
we
right here,
both went
baby.
with Micah Parsons. You know, Austin's representing over here. My reasoning was because like what you said, it typically goes to the best pass rusher, and I think, and I said it last year, if Micah Parsons did not play outside linebacker half the time versus defensive end full time like Nick Bosa, he would have won Defensive Player of the Year. Like it's
Agreed.
things like that don't matter, but him being at linebacker took away a lot of pass rushing opportunities for him. So I think that's why I went with Micah this year, is because with him switching to defensive end full time, I think that's where he's going to get just cause a lot of havoc on the quarterback this year.
Well, that's where I'm gonna stop you there. And my man isn't just playing defensive end. So you said defensive player of the year. He's gonna play 8 positions this year on the defense. So stay
8
tuned.
positions.
That's my
Micah
issue.
Parsons is the defense.
That's why I think that he's not going to win the award. It's because he's going to have his stats are going to be so broad. If you look at all of them, they're going to be mediocre in like each
Yeah,
category because of he's mediocre in every category. Like that's unbelievable, but I don't think that that's going to equal defensive player of the year. I think that Nick Bosa having 18 or 20 sacks with a bunch of hurries and forced fumbles and all that stuff that he's going to be able to pull off. If Micah Parsons,
you
like
say that,
Justin
and the
was
picks
saying,
come in.
if he was just going to be putting his hand in the dirt or rushing from the outside, I think that he would win it. I'm with Justin. And I think that Justin, thinking what I'm thinking, he might change it now because I don't think if
No, I'm not
he
going to change it because all the reports that I've seen have said that Micah Parsons is set to play more of a defined defensive end role this season.
with on
Like
the other side of
they don't
D-Law,
want, yes, they don't
like
want to move him around as much because they want to be able to, get that, make
they
him
still got Dan
comfortable
Quinn,
more in
right?
one position. Yeah. So like, and I believe they added a couple linebackers this offseason. They drafted a linebacker out of Michigan, didn't they? Like, so
Yeah.
I mean, they're adding those pieces there to allow Micah more as just a specific pass rushing role. Like, yes, he's great at like everything else he does, but he is elite at rushing the passer. So
Which is
if
the
you're
most important
asking
thing on
what
defense.
do I want him doing? I want him rushing the passer 40 to 45 times a game. Like that's all I want you doing.
Make that quarterbacks pay hell.
Exactly. Like just he knows you're coming every time. Do not give him a break. And Micah Parsons has the kind of motor, especially where he's young in his career right now, to fuck it, dude. Just let him loose.
Straight up.
I mean, he's gonna havoc on offensive lines if he puts his hand in the dirt. I still think Nick Bosa is probably the best pass rushing. Like, if I was gonna go into a laboratory and make a person that was a pass rusher, I think it would be Nick Bosa. And hearing
I
Mike
would
McDaniel's,
create Miles Garrett. If we're just going like in a laboratory, it would be Miles Garrett.
so hearing Mike McDaniel's talk about Nick Bosa and how this dude's like walking around doing like pass rush moves on like the hand sanitizer stations and like he lives pass rushing. I think that that's what's going to translate. That's why I have him so high on my list. Now,
But he
offensive
won it
rookie.
last year.
Back to back.
So
So
I mean it's
offensive
not like an
rookie,
off the
I
wall
think,
pick.
is where I'm going to disagree with so many people, but I'm going to let you guys go first.
That boy AR-15. I don't know if he's wearing 15 this year, but Anthony
No, he's wearing
Richardson.
5.
Yeah, okay, AR-5. He gonna come out hot. and swinging. And
He wanted
gonna
to get
take over
away
that
from
team.
the AR-15 nickname.
Man, he sucks for that, but we'll forgive him.
Well,
That's funny as
gun
fuck.
laws in America, school shootings.
Oh,
That's why he did
wow.
that. Well, that's why he did that, because like so many school shootings were happening, especially in like Florida and stuff. And he went to, UF. And so he was just like, I don't want the AR-15. Like he didn't want to copyright it, nothing like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, he went to number
Makes
5.
sense.
So yeah.
Now, Justin, are you jumping on this train as well? Do you think that the youngest
It's
quarterback?
for me, it's the Shane Steichen offense. You're getting the Jalen Hurts style offense for a more athletic and stronger armed Jalen Hurts style quarterback. Also, a much bigger, it's the Cam Newton effect. Like Anthony Richardson, to me, he's going to be a very popular pick in fantasy. Like I think he's the type of guy that to where
I'm picking him up
if
every
you
time
see
for my
these
secondary
dudes
quarterback.
passing early on like
You
Lamar,
won't get him there.
Pat, like Josh Allen, these dudes up that get taken too early at quarterback, he's going to be one of those dudes that fly off in like the 6th or 7th round before you expect him to, because somebody's just going to say fuck it and they're just going to jump on him, and then they're going to take somebody like Ryan Tannehill behind him as just like a safety.
Well, that's stupid because Will Levis is coming through looking like the best quarterback in that trio.
See, what I've heard of reports is Malik Willis has been outperforming Will Levis in camp so far, at least in the rookie camps that they had. However, Malik Willis is still looking like the odd man out because he was not a first-round draft pick or a second round. Well, no, he was 3rd. So Will Levis was still the higher round draft pick, so he's more money.
I just don't want to see Tannehill suited up out there.
They're paying him way too much, and nobody's going to take on his contract.
Hell no. Washington should have.
So I think that that's all good and fun, but I think that Jahmyr Gibbs is going to stand behind the best offensive line in football, and I think he's going to put up Zeke-like numbers. Everyone remembers Zeke's rookie year. He was the rushing champ. I don't think that Jahmyr Gibbs is necessarily the rushing champ. I think that, honestly, instead of Zeke-like numbers, it's more accurate to say Austin Eckler-like numbers.
Yeah.
He's going to receive so fucking much, and they're going to be afraid of him running the ball so fucking much. I think that the offensive success for the Lions is going to sit entirely on Jahmyr Gibbs's shoulders. They traded away their best running back because they believed that Jahmyr Gibbs was going to be able to be the guy. I think that he is going to be the guy. I'm fucking so excited to take him in fantasy. I think that people are going to be jumping on Bijan so fucking early. First round, he's going to go. I know it.
Which is crazy because of that Falcons backfield that they have.
My only thing with Jahmyr is how much is David Montgomery going to steal touchdowns from him? Like, yeah, he's going to get you PPR. He's going to be awesome. He's going to, like you said, Austin Eckler type shit. But you're going to lose so much value as far as what he's able to put up on the scoreboard just because David Montgomery is coming in to be the Jamal Williams this year. And if they're inside the 20, that's who's getting the ball.
No one is as good at being Jamal Williams as fucking Jamal Williams. So the fact that he's not there is a step up. Like, I've been dealing with Jamal Williams since I got Aaron Jones. And, like, the dude is a fucking vulture. He is the vulture. 15 fucking touchdowns last year that DeAndre Swift could have had, but didn't. So, I think that David Montgomery was supposed to be a 3-down back, and he isn't. So he's only going to be as valuable as he's capable of being. I think that Jahmyr Gibbs, if he shows the value in like the pass, then they're going to be using that a lot inside the 20. I think that the other thing is that no one wants to give any respect to the quarterback for the Lions, and for the life of me, I can't even think of his name because I guess I don't even want to give
Jared
any
Goff.
respect.
Come on now. He had a solid ass season last year.
But what I'm trying to say is
taller
that he had
Kirk Cousins.
No, he showed the ability to make the throw, bro. He showed the ability to make the touchdown,
Kirk makes
to clutch it up. He doesn't
Just
clutch
not
shit
after
up.
one. Just not after one.
Beating Aaron Rodgers in the final game so that they don't get to go to the fucking playoffs.
It's pretty fire.
That was huge. I think that
was clutch.
I think the Lions are going to be a scary ass team. I mean, you have their head coach as coach of the year. I think that they could end up taking a lot more than just offensive rookie and coach of the year if they come like everyone's expecting them to.
They're my Super Bowl pick, baby. For the
So
NFC.
defensive rookie of the year, just to minus any suspense, we're all in agreement on Will Anderson Jr. My reasoning was D'Amico Ryans' defense, not just
Yeah.
because he was the first defensive guy taken, but because of the defensive system and the defensive coach that he's going to have.
And they have him as an edge. He's going to be rushing a lot. So if he's given an area to succeed, like if he's given the space that he needs to make plays, they also had the best coverage last year in the fucking like the whole NFL. They had like the least amount of touchdowns given up by their cornerbacks. Like they had some of the best coverage in the NFL. It was the rest of their defense that sucked ass. So D'Amico Ryan should be able to fix that. I think coverage sacks are a possibility even.
Yeah, the one dark horse for me as a backup plan was Christian
Jalen Carter?
Gonzalez. No. Christian
So
Jalen Carter would be a great. My only thing is that
How
Eagles
many
defense has so many dudes.
But if he's able, because of all the space that he gets, to be
if
a
he were to
shining
be
star,
able to stand out and above all
man.
of those guys they have, then yeah, he absolutely.
I looked
would.
at Christian
but
Gonzalez
mine was
too,
Christian just
for the
because
Lions.
Amat Sauce Gardner won it last year, and I was
Yep.
also thinking maybe some Devin Witherspoon, but I just don't think his game lends to enough stats that's going to be able to be brought. So
Are we giving
Christian
no love
Gonzalez
to
was like the
Joey
dark
Porter
horse.
Jr.?
So I looked at him for a moment, and then I thought Steelers first year, they don't like to play rookies at all. They're going to because of how good he is and the lineage that he has, but they don't like to. So like I think that they're gonna hold him back some from being
he
able
won't
to
be a
win an award
starting
like
corner.
that.
He'll be a rotational guy.
Yeah. Now come next year, I think that everything gets opened up. That's how they are. That's how it was with Bud Dupree. Bud Dupree didn't do shit his rookie year. Second, third year, he was fucking unbelievable. Fourth year, he played to the point where he got paid way too much by Tennessee. Now, comeback player of the year is hard because until we're halfway through the season, we really have no idea who's coming back. Like, are they just as ass as they were last year? Do they get hurt
It's
again?
a tough one.
There's a lot. So who do you guys got?
I got that boy Brees Hall. I mean, we saw him fucking lightning in a bottle and then just gone. I know you dealt with it in fantasy. Man, everyone did. It shocked the nation.
I think
Brees Hall was
great
he
call.
was almost my
He's
pick.
young enough. He's young
He
enough
was so
and
close
strong
to me.
enough to just bounce back.
Yeah.
Same thing with your pick.
Now, yeah, Colby, go ahead with yours.
So I went Javonte Williams for the exact same reason. He only played 4 games, 52 snaps last year. Whenever he comes back and is a top 3 guy, that's enough for him to win comeback.
We saw
player of the
that
year.
he's capable of that.
And he was going
he's
to be the
young
best
enough.
running back last year. Brees
He
Hall was
was.
going to be the second or third best, but Javonte Williams was going to be the best last year. And didn't because of injury. So I think that's why.
And he came out of North Carolina. That's wild.
Right.
So I like that pick as well. Like if he's able to, which I think he probably will in Sean Payton's offense, just get the ball enough. Like very solid pick. Mine, I took Tua, and that was the whole Mike McDaniel thing. If Tua stays healthy and he's able to, but my whole thing is too, I don't know, like he's on the top leaders as far as guys to bet for comeback player of the year.
Makes sense.
He missed 7 games, so it's like at that aspect, wouldn't Dak also be a candidate for comeback player of the year?
I don't think
granted,
he-
Dak
he
finished
very
the
well is.
season.
He's a candidate, but I think that Dak wouldn't necessarily win it because of like
Well, see, that's what I'm saying
expectation
though. Is like I don't
for
know
Tua.
if Tua necessarily missed enough time to where
So
he should
Tua,
warrant consideration, but he did miss
he's
the end of the year.
he
So
still
he
only had
technically would
like
be coming back.
he had like
Yeah.
3,400 yards. He had less than 30 touchdowns, and he had like less than 10 interceptions, right? If the man goes for like 35, 40 touchdowns with 4,500 yards and 5 picks, like that is a candidate for comeback player of the year. But that's what it's going to require. He's going to have to be a top five, barely, I think top five guy. I think he's
I
not a
mean,
top five.
Gino won it, and all he came back from was a punch in the jaw like 4 years ago. So I mean,
Yeah, Gino hasn't been a starter for a long time. I think that Gino was the exception that proves the rule for like comeback player of the year. Everyone wanted. I mean, who the fuck else are you going to give it to than Gino from last year?
Saquon and Christian McCaffrey I would have gave it to Christian McCaffrey. Like that's just me personally. Just like it mostly specifically on the fact of if you look at the 49ers record once they got Christian McCaffrey,
Yeah,
they
that's not
didn't
a bad
lose a
call.
game until the NFC Championship. And that's
Right up.
because all of their
They lost
and
their
their
quarterback,
quarterbacks,
and
yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I think Javonte Williams is not something that a lot of people are going to think of. I think that because he plays for the Broncos. I think that as well, though, if the Broncos end up having a fucking great year and a lot of it's played behind him, that's going to be a really good storyline for him to get
Now,
consideration.
the favorite and the overwhelming favorite is DeMar Hamlin to win
Which
it
I
at
fucking hate,
-3.
dude.
Which my thing is I get it
What the fuck's he
if
supposed to
he
do?
is if he is a starter for the
Yeah,
Bills.
if he's some
Like if
elite
he's a
player,
starter
but
for
he
the
wasn't even a
Bills
starter
and
last year.
has a
Like,
good season, and that's where I'm with you here, because I see where your brain, like where the wheels are turning. Like I
yeah,
get the story, I understand all that. The dude almost lost his fucking life. But like we're acting like the dude like snapped his neck and an angel touched him and he was one of the top players in the league already, and he's coming back this season looking to be a starter, and he's gonna
Make a
looking to
huge
like actually
difference.
make a huge impact. Like
Yeah.
my thing is like you said, he wasn't even a starter last year. If he's not a starter on the team this year, I don't understand.
and
Like
I
he
don't think
would
he's
win
gonna
it.
be.
He would win it specifically on the whole story aspect of it. Like the NFL just wants to have a feel good story, which that's like kind of harsh to say, but it's true.
He was drafted in the fucking 6th round, guys. Like, I understand
And
that he almost
where's
died,
he at on the Bills depth chart? Like that's my like
it's
where was he on the
he's
Bills depth
not a
chart last year?
starter. He played for them some, but like that was probably like all right. I mean, we can PFF it and see how many snaps he had last year, but I know that he didn't put up a bunch of like stats. He's
Because
not
the
No.
Bengals
that
game
guy.
It was
was
just a
the
it's
Bengals
just a
game was
feel good
what, like
story.
week
Exactly.
15? Like the Bengals game was deep in the season when he like got hurt and stuff.
Yeah. It was one of the last games of the season. I mean, it's just a great story. It's gonna be, that he was able to come back and actually. That's what it is. It's that he can actually play from coming back from an injury like that. That he didn't step away from the sport and shit like that. Like that's what people are gonna respect. But I mean, you guys have valid points that like you should give it to the player that's performing the best after coming from an injury like that. Odell Beckham could be considered a comeback player of the year if he puts up a great season.
Yeah, I can't even find him on the cornerbacks list. Was he a cornerback or was he a safety?
He's a corner.
Cornerback.
So he was listed as free safety. So I think he's just like a roaming DB because he was listed last year as Micah Hyde's backup.
Makes
Yep, I
sense
see
of
him
why
now.
his injury was the way it was. He's
So
roaming, coming
he's
down
like a
hard like
nickel
that.
roaming, but that's my thing is like if he does win it, like it's legit like a feel good story. My thing is him being minus 300. There's no value in that because number one, if he does win it, it's minus 300. What are you betting on
Exactly.
that? But number
Yeah.
two is I see you get halfway through the season and he's not even on the board because he's not playing enough to actually warrant consideration. So it's a wasted bet.
It's a total trap right now.
Which, like I said,
Complete
it's
trap.
kind of harsh to get into, but it's the reality. Like, I mean, it's come on, bro. Like, we're glad you're alive. We're glad you made it and everything like that. But it was a freak hit to the chest that happens almost to everybody at some point in the game. Like, it just happened. And didn't he have like a heart condition beforehand? Like, in the
I
hit to the
think so. I
chest
think
just
that's
kind of
why it
like
affected him so much.
extenuated it. Like, yeah. So, okay.
So that was our way too early predictions. I think that there's a likelihood that at least one of those is correct on one of our lists. That I mean, we were pretty on point. I mean, we kind of went with like a pretty.
I feel good about a few of mine. I feel good about a few, but I also
I
felt that
think
way last year, and I
think
can't
D'Amico
remember what our
Ryans
picks were last year.
is a bit of a stretch, but I think that it's also very
No,
likely.
he was definitely in the runner-ups.
I think it's a stretch just because the Texans have to have a really good team, and they haven't for so long that are we really expecting a total culture shift? But I am. Like I said earlier, San Francisco, every Saleh, Mike McDaniel, everyone that's come from there so far, they've had immediate success. They've had teams buying into them because of where they came from. So I think that's enough.
I agree.
Hell yeah,
I'm trying
brother.
to find. I can't. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to find it. I was trying to find where we would be able to. I wanted to see if I could find our lists for last year at the beginning of the season when we picked our winning awards, just to see how accurate we were. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to the podcast that we put out there.
If you do, we'll bring it up on the next.
We'll give an update. Yeah, we'll give an update next week. So next week, same time, same place, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. We are going to be during the season recording live the podcast on Mondays at 8:30. So it's gonna be a live reaction to the game because the game will be playing while we're recording. Just not like we're gonna show the game because we don't want to get canceled yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. Yeah, we don't want to get canceled yet, so we got to make sure we're good on the legalities and all the, copyrights and stuff like that.
Hide the logos. No,
See, I don't see. That's my thing. Is I from what I know, I think YouTube's more about like the audio. Like, just don't play music you don't have the rights to. Like, I don't know. So, it's going to be one of our jobs to figure that out. So we'll figure that out. Unless somebody else knows, then just hit us up and let us know how to run it. And hey,
if we get blocked, we get blocked. Whatever.
Yeah. But hey, also, if there's anybody out there that is you're good at editing, good at producing video and audio, and getting podcasts put up and stuff like that, hit us up. Because we would appreciate the help, and we'll honestly, we'll help you with your services. Also, shout out to the cousins over there, their mother. So this episode and all the episodes, this podcast is brought to you by Tulsi Rose Tea. Go to tulsirosetea.com if you've got a little tea fix. I'm going to tell you, I've had the cotton candy, and it's absolutely phenomenal.
My new favorite actually is your
throw
daughter,
some ice
Everly's.
In that? The tropical? We haven't tried that yet.
It is my favorite. Like, it is my new favorite. I might have to have it every day. And she's running out of it, so that sucks.
And this isn't just a fake plug. Like, we actually do enjoy the teas. We're not tea people, but we'll drink them because to me, it tastes like juice. So it's
healthy
good.
Juice. It's
so
super healthy.
TulsiRoseTea.com, and that's where you can, get all your orders there sent to you, shipping, all of that for you done. And, we'll see you guys next week. Like Colby said, 8:30 Mondays, live in your ear. Goodbye.